Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am back with another baking video and another loaf bread video. We just love bread and carbs on this channel, what can I say? Apologies in advance, the lighting in this video is going to be all over the place. It's like partly cloudy today, so sometimes the sun is out and sometimes it's not. So today, in honor of it finally feeling like spring here in Toronto, we are making a lemon blueberry loaf. I don't know what it is about lemon or fruity recipes in general, but they always remind me of summer. I feel like in the winter, I want something heartier. I want chocolate and cinnamon and all those amazing spices. And then in the summer, I want something light and zesty, you know? Some people say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I say when life gives you lemons, make a lemon loaf. They're so good. You guys really seemed to enjoy last week's banana bread video, so I just felt like we would continue on the bread loaf train because woo woo, all aboard. It's a fun ride. I don't know where we're going, but we're having a good time. Like always, this is a super easy recipe. If you've never baked before, I have confidence that you are gonna nail this. And if you have baked before, then, well, you're for sure gonna nail this, and it's gonna be delicious either way. I believe in all of you. Here is a rundown of all the ingredients you're gonna need to make today's recipe. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of grated lemon zest, 1 cup of fresh blueberries. If all you've got is frozen, I feel like that's probably fine. Just defrost them well ahead of time. Make sure they've drained of all their water, and I'm sure they'll be just as good in the recipe. 1/2 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature, 3/4 cups of granulated white sugar, 2 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/2 cup of milk. And for your lemon glaze, you will need 2 tablespoons of granulated white sugar and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And those are our ingredients, so let's get right into it and make this loaf. So I've already got my flour sifted in this medium bowl. To this, we are gonna add our 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Scoop that up, and she goes. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. If I can find my 1/4 teaspoon, aha, I got her. Salt's going in. If any of you watched my video from last week where I make vegan banana bread, that recipe calls for a pinch of salt, and I had mentioned in the video that I never really know how much that is, and I just kind of do a little amount in my hand. But one of you guys actually commented and said you had taken, I believe, some kind of cooking or culinary class, and your teacher said that a pinch of salt is the equivalent of 1/8 of a teaspoon. So mystery solved, and thank you to that lovely subscriber. Now we've all learned something. All right, next we're gonna put in our 1 tablespoon of grated lemon zest. Now I know that probably sounds a little bit scary. What is lemon zest? How do you grate it? I'm about to tell you. So I've already done most of it. This is what my lemon zest looks like. Now this is just under 1 tablespoon because I wanted to show you guys how I get my lemon zest for this recipe. So there's a few different ways you can do this. I'm gonna show you what I do, and I'm also gonna tell you some alternatives if you don't have this specific tool at home. I don't want you to feel like you can't make this recipe. I like to use this little tool that I just have at my parents' house. These teeth here are gonna get you your zest. So lemon zest is essentially the peel of the lemon chopped up really finely, and when you put that in your recipe, that's what's going to give you your really like fresh, lemony, zesty, delicious taste. Like it all comes from the skin. I know if you probably were to like bite in the lemon, it probably wouldn't taste great, but in a small amount, cut up really finely in your recipe, baked, oh my god, it's the best. As you can see, I've already really gone in on this lemon. He's looking a little rough, but he's helping make something delicious. So I just go over the skin. There's not much left, but like that. You can see this tool produces these really long and skinny pieces, which I'm just gonna take and literally cut up with some kitchen scissors. And that's what we're left with. So if you don't have this tool, which I'm sure most people probably don't have, it's pretty obscure, you can use a cheese grater or even a potato peeler, and you'll obviously get like a much bigger piece when you use a potato peeler. And then just use kitchen scissors to chop that up as finely as you can, or a knife, whatever you want to do. That is probably the most tedious part of this recipe. So if you can get through that, which I know you can, you're golden. The rest of it is going to be a piece of cake. And that's been a one-on-one on lemon zest. I will say one of the biggest benefits of zesting a lemon is the absolutely divine scent that it fills your entire house with. My mom just walked into the kitchen and was like, what is that smell? And I don't mean that like Lysol disinfectant wipe smell that we've all been inhaling for the past 2 months. I mean like a real fresh lemon. There's nothing like it. Now that we've zested our lemon, we're gonna dump this into our flour, salt, and baking powder mix. And then give that all a good mix. Guys, I cannot even describe how good this smells. Just zest a lemon just to see what it smells like. Who would have thought that the most bitter, gross part of a fruit could produce the best scent? That's what I'm telling you. Don't judge a book by its cover or a fruit by the taste of its bitter, gross rind. Like, that's what's gonna make your loaf taste incredible. There we go, that's nicely mixed in. Now, before we move on to mixing our wet ingredients, we're actually going to flour our blueberries, which bet you've never done that before. So whenever you're adding fruit to a loaf or a cake, it's always good to flour the fruit beforehand. That's gonna help distribute it more evenly throughout your loaf instead of having it all sink to the bottom and then you just have like a weird goopy blueberry bottom loaf, which I mean could be good, but it's not what we're making today. So we're gonna take 1 tablespoon from our flour mixture and dump it into our blueberries. And then just give them a good shake until they're all coated. There you go. Blueberries are coated, flour is mixed. Now let's move on to our wet ingredients. So don't be alarmed, but I am using my KitchenAid mixer. Oh my God, it's so heavy. You are more than welcome to use a hand mixer for this. In fact, I actually recommend it, but my hand mixer is currently in Los Angeles, California, so I'll be using this guy. So in the bowl of your electric mixer or in a big bowl using your hand mixer, we are going to add our 1/2 cup of unsalted room temperature butter, and then you're gonna beat your butter until it's nicely softened. Okay, that looks good. That was about 1 minute. I'm gonna quickly scrape down the sides here. To our softened butter, we're gonna add our sugar and beat until it's nice and fluffy for about 2 to 3 minutes. About halfway through beating your butter and sugar together, I like to just stop my mixer and scrape down the sides. Make sure everything is getting a nice, even mix. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. You want to make sure that your butter and sugar mixture has gotten to a nice like pale yellow color. And now we're just going to beat in our eggs, beating well after each addition. I feel like about 20 seconds is usually enough time to incorporate your egg. You just want to make sure that you can't see too many streaks of the egg yolk going through your batter. Again, once it's all a kind of uniform light yellow color, that's probably enough mixing, because again, you want to be careful not to overmix. Adding in a second egg. Trying that one-handed crack. Whoa, she knows what she's doing. Like so, like that. Shout out Tabitha Brown. Another quick scrape down there, and another 20 seconds till it incorporates. Now we're gonna add our 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract right into that mixture. Another quick mix. And that is our wet ingredients done. I'm gonna scrape down the sides again because now we're about to combine our dry ingredients with our wet ingredients. Now before we continue, I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees. She's heating up. Now we're gonna bring back our dry ingredients. Remember this lemony goodness? So with the mixer on low, we're going to alternatingly add our flour mixture and our milk until everything is nicely combined. So I like to add my flour in 3 parts. So I'm gonna start by putting in the flour. Give that a quick mix until it's just incorporated. Then when you see it come together kind of like this, you're gonna add your milk. So I really am not mixing for too long in between each addition because I've said it 1,000 times, but you want to be really careful not to over mix anything. So just as you see it coming together, stop mixing, move on to the next thing. This is the consistency you're looking for. I'm still going to do another scraping down of the sides there. You can see there's some flour left over. I'm gonna give it one final super quick little hand mix before we add our blueberries. So now at this point, you're done with your mixer, so just be sure to clean off whatever kind of paddle you're using. You don't want any of that good dough left behind on your paddle. That all needs to go in your stomach. I mean, not at this point, but you know, when it's baked and not raw, obviously. So there's our beautiful little ball of dough, and we're about to dump in our blueberries. Here they are, remember these? Beautiful floured blueberries going in. And at this point, I like to just gently fold the blueberries in Has anyone seen that episode of Schitt's Creek when they're cooking and they have to fold in the cheese and neither of them knows what folding in the cheese means? Oh, Schitt's Creek, so many good times, so many laughs. Okay, I'm holding the camera in one hand and I'm gonna attempt to show you how to fold in the berries with this hand, but it's just this gentle sort of motion like this. Super easy until you feel like your berries are nicely and evenly distributed. So we're gonna take our bowl off. We're gonna move our mixer out of the way. Oh, thank you for your service. It's like an arm workout moving that thing around. I'm gonna be using the same glass loaf pan that I used for the banana bread. Just gonna give this a quick greasing and then we're gonna put in our batter. Nice. Little double spatula action. Now this stuff is really good, so you really want to scrape off every little bit from your bowl. Leave no man behind. Just gonna smooth this guy out. So to do this, I like to give it a little shake to get it level, and then just use my spatula to get the top nice and even. Ta-da! And that's it. Now we're gonna pop this into the oven for 55 to 65 minutes. And since you guys enjoyed it so much last week, I thought in this week's video I would include another segment of me catching up with an all-American pal. So let's go make a phone call.
What?
You screening my calls?
Yeah.
I should have known.
I told you, I don't like speaking to you when we're not on set.
That was always, like, not just when we're filming? Like, even on the off-season?
Yeah, just, I need a break.
Well, just since we're already on the phone, can we?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh yeah.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So like, have you been? You been good?
You know, taking each day as it comes and trying to, you know, stay on top of things. What about you?
I'm good. I'm well. Yeah, just, you know, staying home. Baking and eating a lot, mostly, like everybody.
It's a constant battle between me and food, this whole quarantine thing.
I mean, not much has changed for you. I feel like you always ordered Uber Eats before, and do you still?
Yeah, they just leave it at the door now. I just don't get to see them.
Did you enjoy the, like, human interaction of saying hello to your delivery person?
I mean, you know, you don't notice you miss the good things until they're gone. You know, that's just how life goes. It was nice. But honestly, my life hasn't really changed that much.
I know. I talked to Mike and I was like, I feel like you and Daniel are just doing what you did before.
It's weird being away because all my family's back in the UK. This week's supposed to be really hot. We had a couple weird weeks where it rained quite a lot, but this week it's been really hot, so yeah, it's nice. What's going on, man?
It's actually okay. Well, today it was like wet snow, which was weird.
Forget it.
But other than that, it's been okay. Like, you can be outside. It's not freezing, which is nice.
Good,
you know,
good.
Daily walks.
The two things keeping me sane is like my music and being able to work out.
What are you listening to right now?
Just loads of really sad, emotional R&B songs.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. So really getting yourself in the spirit of self-isolation.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly.
On that uplifting note, Daniel, thanks for chatting. Okay, goodbye.
Bye. Okay.
Bye. Oh, Daniel. What a guy. All right, back in the kitchen and our bread is almost done. So now we are going to quickly whip up our lemon glaze. This is super easy. All you're gonna do is take 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Then you're gonna pop that mixture in your microwave for about 20 seconds or until all your sugar has dissolved. You're gonna be pouring this glaze over your loaf. So just make sure it's at a consistency where it's going to be able to like really penetrate the loaf and get in there and make your loaf even more lemony and delicious. Okay, guys. The loaf's coming out. Here we go. She's perfect. Oh, so good. This is another reason I like the glass, is because you can really see all around. There she is. Have another good look. Really good color on top. Now let's glaze her. Let's get glazed, man. Who remembers that baking episode? So here she is. We've got our glaze. So the first thing we want to do is make a bunch of holes in our loaf just using a toothpick. This is what's going to help the glaze really work its way into the loaf. Then we're gonna take our glaze and one of these silicone brushes. If you don't have one of these, just use a spoon and spoon it on. But if you do have one of these, this is just gonna help distribute the glaze a little more evenly. This is also gonna give your loaf a nice shine. And if there were any parts of your loaf that got, you know, a little bit burnt or a little crispier, that is a great place to concentrate the glaze because it'll really help soften up those rougher edges. And when you're done, it should look a little something like this. You can see the glaze is made real beautiful and shiny. Look at that little pool of glaze there, that's nice. She's been glazed. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed catching up with Mr. Spencer James himself. I've really been enjoying doing these baking videos. I feel like everyone is spending so much time in their kitchen. It's finally starting to feel like spring here, and lemons and blueberries. What is more springy than that? Let me know if you end up making this recipe. If you post a photo, tag me on Instagram or let me know down below. Once again, please enjoy some lovely B-roll of my loaf. It sounds a bit strange. She's beautiful, she's tender. Look at those berries. Perfectly even distribution. Beautiful yellow color. We love this loaf. She's perfect. Anyways, you guys, that is it for this week's video. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week with another video.